So this is fun. The day before New Year's, kind of hanging out. I know that you're sitting by the ocean, and I couldn't wait. I haven't even gone outside yet today, but I know I'll get down there before the end of the day to be near the ocean. It's where I feel like all New Year's should start. Something about the ocean and the flow, and even in weather like today with all the rain, it just feels good to see that vast expanse. So I'm so glad that you're here. I know, here, I'll put it like this. I'm so glad you're here and that you've taken time out of the day to be with me today for our Rise Above Noise interview, because I know that when people hear what you have to say and they hear about your book and how you do your thing, it's just a really great way to start the year. I usually give a digital marketing tip at the beginning of the interviews. And I'm not going to share my screen today because I was really taken. I got up super early this morning and started reading this book that the 12-week year that I'll be covering in the Rise Above Noise group this month. And I was so, knowing that I was talking with you today, Clara, and before I do your official introduction, I was so struck by this paragraph and I wanted to kind of bring it into our conversation. So knowing that I work with heart-centered entrepreneurs and that the more they know what their values are, what their mission is, and the more that they give themselves permission to show up as themselves and not to get hung up in, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, but to really give themselves permission to do that. And then how I support them is to say, okay, that is so beautiful. That is you. Let's save you time and energy by creating some kind of a system around that. Let's make a schedule. Let's make a calendar. Let's come up with a system. All the Mondays we do this. All the Thursdays we do this. So here's what I wanted to read that I thought tied in. The personal vision creates the foundation for an emotional link to your business and career objectives, so that there's a strong alignment between what you pursue in your business and the life you desire to live. And so your business vision is the most powerful when it's developed in light of your personal vision. And so the next line really resonated with me because this is what I've seen. The reason so many people fail to follow through when things get difficult is that they don't always have that lack of connection with their personal life and with their business life. And I felt like that was a really good way to get this started, and knowing that without your personal values involved in your business, and then without the systems to make sure that you have a way to not suck the energy out of you when you're showing up online, there's that disconnectedness, right? That's not synchronous and you can't get going. So now I'm so excited to introduce my friend, Clara Angelina Diaz. And let's see, I have a short bio and a long. The short bio is that Clara is a leadership coach, speaker, author, and facilitator. And now you guys got to give me a minute to find the other one. Here we go. She's a native of the Dominican Republic, a certified master coach, speaker, facilitator, author. Clara coaches emerging and established entrepreneurs on developing their leadership skills. So her clients increase their emotional intelligence, spiritual awareness, strategic thinking, interpersonal skills, confidence, and you guys will know this is my favorite, sense of calm. Clara is booked regularly to speak and deliver workshops on her book, Create Your Best Year One Day at a Time. She offers private coaching, coaching certification training, business mentoring, workshops, and transformational retreats. She's also a business mentor with Pepperlane. You guys have heard me mention that before. And also Entrepreneurship for All. Is that E for All, Clara?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to have you here and to just take us off. Like, what are you doing these days? How are you making your difference?
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Susan. I just came from, so I've been coaching for the past 12 weeks, a group of senior citizens. And I've been coaching them in this group. They've been calling their social wellness club.
Mm.
And yeah, so that's one of the projects that I've been involved in. And today was our last day, our last session. So it was really, really special. We were just doing a summary of, everything that we've learned about ourselves, everything from self-worth to being able to accept others as they are, and I quote, to feeling worthy of just being alive. And so in my work, that's I go from, the core of what it means to be human, to be here in this world, like what is the purpose of your existence, to taking that and actually implementing strategies and steps that actually take that purpose into real life. From building businesses to running for office. I've helped women, many women, make their dreams come true and make a big difference in the community.
I've seen, I got an opportunity to be in your Pepperlane booth last month, and I've talked with other people who have been in your retreats, read your book, just had an opportunity to be with you. And I know it's hard to put into words, but is there what would be an example of something that something you do in your retreats or an exercise you do with clients that give people that aha moment?
Yeah, well, I got to take it right back to the good old wheel of life. So it's called, the wheel of life or the wheel of perspective, which I have in my book, and I share it widely with people because I say to my clients, if I had had this tool when I was a young person, I don't know, my life would be so much different. It's good, but it would be way better. So this tool is called the Wheel of Life. And what you do is you basically just make a circle, and you can Google this, and make a pizza pie and write out, 8 different areas of your life, and ask yourself honestly, how am I feeling about these different areas, right? From a 0 to 10. And based on your honest feedback of what you see, decide, what if I could just take, one of these areas one point up, just one. And that helps people just open up, their minds and their hearts to, man, like, I can make a difference in my life. Oh, look at what's already going well. And once you start to feel good about like yourself, like the power that you have, then you can be a better contributor, a better leader, a better employer, a better boss, a better director. But we got to take the time to see how we're doing in the inside first.
So that's so interesting because there was 2 things that stood out what you just said. One was look at what's going right, which we're hard on ourselves, right? So my first instinct when you said that was like, oh, I wonder how I would feel about that, right? Would I just feel like, oh, I should be doing more. I'd be shooting all over myself. But then you said, see what's going right, and then take it up another notch. And I think that we forget to do that.
Yes, we do. We do. We're so conditioned to always want to fix, want to change. It can be better, comparing ourselves. But man, like when we get when we give ourselves permission to actually look at what is going right, what have I already done that is right from the list of 20 things that I said I was going to do, instead of saying like, oh my God, but I didn't do these things. Like, but what did you do?
Yes.
What did you do? What rendered results? And can you do that again? My God, so many layers to this, to be kind to ourselves because we're worthy, because, you're good enough, just as you are, as you showed up. And then going from there, it's made a big difference in my life and the life of my clients.
I think so too. And I know that now you're also coaching the coaches, right? And, what some of the things we've talked about when we were going back and forth about what we were going to talk about today is like how stories of delighting your customers and bringing loving service and coaching people in support of their dreams. Like for people who are just getting started and could go either way, like we said, right? They could just like embrace everything they're doing and move forward, or they could get frustrated and go down that other path. How do you help them go on that forward path?
Boy, so I use coaching as is one of my big tools, and so one of the things that I do is I teach my clients how to coach themselves and how to coach their employees. So first and foremost, right, to move yourself from a negative place to a positive, right? I always ask, the question is, right, what is the intention? Like, what are we trying to achieve here? What is it? And when a lot of people will say, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Right? But what if you knew? Right? Like, what if you gave yourself the opportunity to just like write it down and say, like, I don't know how this is going to come about. Man, I might not feel like I deserve this right now, but this is what I want. And just let yourself say it. Let yourself recall the things that make you happy, the things that excite you, and just simply, like, it has to be stated, right? In some form, written, whispered, sung, like dance. You have to speak what you want. And then from there, asking, like, like what I love Pepperlane so much, because there's always that question. It's like, what is one thing that I can do right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What is, one thing that I can do that will make a difference? Is it a phone call? Is it, going to clean out a drawer? Maybe it's apologizing to someone. But it's, one of the things that I pride myself in doing is giving people space to really call out their truth, right? And what is right for you. Because just because, you are, a CEO or a top attorney, it doesn't mean that, like, the next thing that you need might not be a hug, instead of like a better plan, another strategy. So it's just giving each other and giving people that space to be human while still holding these titles, and these positions of power.
So let me ask you this then, because you said when you give yourself permission to do what makes you happy or to know what makes you happy. And again, we're complicated women, all of us. And so we're like, I need this and I want this and I don't really know one. And I know for me, I'm the kind of person that I take what comes my way and I make the most of it. And it never really occurred to me to say, what do I want? I just want, I just want everyone around me to be happy, and I want to serve, and I want to do this. And so that question always gave me a little bit of stress.
Of course.
Know, right? What will make you happy, Susan? Well, I want everyone else around me to be happy.
Of course.
I have to say, though, the shift between doing some of the Pepperlane work and doing the work with my business coach in Masters in Clarity has been that by creating my story, right? Creating my why I'm here to help heart-centered entrepreneurs to show up, because if they don't show up, they can't help the people they're supposed to help. I work with the most amazing people. And so once I did that work, which maybe this is how you work, right? Like I was just like, I don't know what I do, but I kept writing it and then rewriting it. I wrote my affirmations, and now I can say, this is what makes me happy, because if my heart-centered entrepreneurs can get found, I mean, it's still for them, but it's for me, because this is my way of serving.
I love that. I mean, I love that you were able to, it almost sounds like you were able to awaken your power by defining your why.
I think so.
But what I find, what's really interesting, is that so many of us have lost our power big time. I mean, big time, right? So many of us don't have the privilege, you know, that we have of having a coach. So what I tell people is, you know, follow the breadcrumbs, right? Like, you know, a woman came to me once and said, she's like, you know, I remember, we started coaching. She said, you know, I want to make more money. I need to make more money. I need to learn how to manage my time. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's all good and dandy. But what's your dream? Like, tell me your dream. And then she said, my dream has always been to run for office.
Wow.
I was like, really? I was like, well, what's stopping you? She's like, you know, I just don't know how to go about it. I was like, well, and then I kept, you know, asking her questions. Do you know anyone who's ever ran for office? Actually, I do. Oh, really? Do you have her phone number? Yes, I do. She actually, you know what? Actually, she, you know, like a year ago, she told me that if I ever wanted to find out more information, I should call her.
Oh, wow.
Well, maybe what do you think? Will you call her? Would you call her this week? Yes. 6 months later, state representative.
No, sir. That's
Yes, sir.
amazing.
First in her family to go to college. First in, you know, she's of Cape Verdean heritage, to reach that position. First time running ever. Because it's in there, you know, it's like, there's different ways of, you know, like you said, like crafting our story is one of them, you know, really like finding out our why, assessing how we feel, right? And like being honest with ourselves. But at the end of the day, Susan, we have to know that, you know, that thing is in there, you know, your magic, your purpose, you know, the reason why you were born that, you know, serves the world and lights you up too,
Yes.
it is in there. So there's many, many ways to go about it. And following the breadcrumbs is like, oh, I've been thinking of this. Oh, and then this person. Oh, and then I make this call. Oh, and the next thing you know. So I think that there's, you know, that's a strategy that I use a lot, you know, in coaching. And it's not, I used to call it winging it.
Yeah.
But it's more, you know, it's like having the courage to really listen to your intuition and having the courage, right, and developing that muscle, that listening muscle, to listen for what I like to call the voice of the wise and compassionate adult inside. Right? So it's like, what if we approach our marketing that way, right? Like, what would the wise and compassionate adult inside of me want to say to my customers about what I have to offer? You know, what if we like approach sales conversations, you know, coming from the spirit of the wise and compassionate adult inside? You know, what if we talk to our employees that way? How big of a difference, right, would we make, and how different things would be?
That's so good. And here's the other, so this is what I love about what you just said too. This woman had this dream. She knew she had this dream, but it took somebody, it almost as though she needed not validation from you, but maybe an invitation to follow those breadcrumbs. And because a lot of the people in my communities are solopreneurs, they don't always get that feedback. And if they haven't figured out coaching, I know in my mastermind groups and my accountability groups, and I've got this membership group started, that's a big part of what I'm creating, is a way, much like Pepperlane does, is a way for people to get honest, compassionate feedback from others who are similar, right? We're all having that same negative talk, but we're all really good at lifting each other up. And so so if you don't have a coach, or you just need somebody to be a coach for a minute, or accountability, I have a few people that I count on for accountability. That's more for tasks, but there is one that we usually go deeper, a little bit deeper, like what's holding you back from doing that, right? And is it, and to remind me, fear isn't real, Susan. Like, what if? So what? If it doesn't work out, you go on to the next thing. But at least
I heard this recently, Susan, about fear, that says, you know, when you feel fear, it's because you've reached your edge. right? You've reached the edge of how as much as you can go, and now you're ready to go to the next level. You know, and so look at it as a positive thing, right? Like there is fear, but like what you said is, you know, having a community of people, of like-minded, that is everything. You know, the power of having some type of community.
Right.
If you, you know, if,
someone to give you honest feedback and to push you further along with that.
And for you to see other models as well of what's possible.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
What else? So when you do your boosts, I enjoyed yours. I have to tell you too that I know, right? The holidays got busy, but I was just cleaning out my backpack and I found the card from when you had your boost. And I was like, right, that is exactly what I need to do this afternoon is creating personal messages for people to invite them into this membership group, which I think some people will really benefit from it and others I don't think it would be as interesting to them, but it's a great idea for others. So what other thing, go ahead. Oh, I thought you were saying something. I got some feedback. What other, who do you work with in general, and what is it like to work with you?
So who I work with in general are women who have their own business, and they've had their business for usually over 5 years, and they've done it alone. And so like these women, for example, I work with a lot of attorneys, and women who are special, like their specialty is one thing, but it's not business. And so I help them really think about and support them in growing their leadership, what it really means to be a CEO of a company, and help them develop that oversight over their company so that it can run smoothly. And then I also help them develop the interpersonal skills and the relationship building skills that are necessary for leaders to, you know, have loyal employees and a loyal following. I also do retreats for my clients and their employees. And those retreats are usually about thinking, you know, like for the next 6 months, like what are our responsibilities? What are some of the challenges that we're having, you know, in our office? And then we will work through them, and I'll create like a unique experience for their particular challenges.
Wow.
So fun, so much fun. And working with me, you know, I would say, this is what my clients say about working with me. They say that I give them confidence, that I help them to keep a positive mindset, that I help them think beyond what they can think for themselves. So I force them to think further. I force them to think deeper. And I really challenge them in using their power responsibly, both in their personal lives, but then in the people that they influence. You know, and the other difference for me is that I am a culturally competent leadership coach, because, you know, I've worked with a lot of different types of races. I work with both men and male and female, and across ages. So from young, you know, leaders in high school building their own companies to Harvard Business School, MBAs, you know, CEOs of companies. So
you bring a lot to the table. Bring a lot to the table.
Thank you, Susan. And my mission in life, you know, my goal is that every person that I come in contact with and that I work with not only realizes, you know, the divinity and the amazing jewel and gift that they are to this life, but that they can really bring those gifts and make a difference. And that's what I've been doing for the past 10 years.
So good. When did you write your book?
I published my book in 2016, right after my daughter was born in October of 2016. But I've written it about, I wrote a version of it maybe a year before. I published it as an audiobook form, and then I added more to it. More of like there's like real stories of women that I've worked with and women who have kind of used the system of create your best year. So yeah, about 2015, around there I wrote it.
I think I was going to look it up on Amazon, but I'll let you describe what your book is about.
Yes. So, oh my God, my book. So it's coming out, and I'm really, really excited because it's going to be republished in Spanish at the end of January. And so my book is really all about helping women think about a different way of setting goals for themselves. And many of the women that I work with, they have come to me with many, many goals that they wanted to achieve for years. But I help them, what the book does is help you distill down, what if you could achieve maybe 1 to 3 goals this year and that's it, right? What if you focus on those 3, right? What difference, it would make such a big difference to your life if you can actually focus, right? The power of focused attention, especially for women, because, we are sometimes so divided into, wanting to do for others, and just our entire mindset is about service. So, I say in the book, what if you can come up with 3 goals? So 1, a goal that is really going to stretch you, a goal that is about giving back, and then a goal for your own self-love. So thinking kind of around that framework, I give you, how to exercises, I give you affirmations, poetry, and then real stories of women that, have really taken these concepts and just grown in different ways, grown their businesses, grown from the inside, and created the best year for them, right? Not what other people expected of them, but what their best year means to them personally.
That is so good. I'm going to
Thank
show your, put it up here so people can see. Oops. This is a video too from Medfield TV. Is that all of you? Do you remember what I'm talking about? I'm going to share my
Yeah,
screen.
probably. There's a whole bunch of videos.
I'm going to show you guys.
YouTube.
This is Clara's book on, right? Are you seeing Amazon now, Clara?
Yes.
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 There's the book. And it's beautiful. And then if you do a search for Clara Angelina Diaz and create your best year one day at a time, you'll get to appreciate this video with her being videotaped as well.
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yep.
Oh, good. Now I have to figure out my buttons here.
Thank you.
This has been so good to get to speak with you today during our off week, sort of off week, but not really off week.
Yeah. Off week, not really, because I'm working.
Same. But it's quieter. There's something about it that seems really quiet and manageable. I think it's going to hit like a whirlwind the rest of this week and next week. I know I've got a couple of webinars and stuff, but right now it feels really good. Before we finish today, I wanted to acknowledge when I asked you if there was anything you wanted to offer listeners, you came up with something very generous that you're going so for the first 3 people who mention Rise Above Noise, you're offering a clarity and visioning session at a special rate of $150, which is such a good deal. I know that you're usually $300 and more. And right, so this is, I mean, what a great way to get the year started, to pair your book and a visioning session with you. Is that an hour, the visioning session?
It's an hour.
Oh my gosh. An hour with Clara, you guys. Worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun. Like, I've developed this system of helping people think about their goals from, like we go through the wheel of life first, and then from there we craft your goals by quarter for the year, and then you get a nice little sheet with like, these are all my goals, and you can print them out and stay focused. Yeah, and then I also help you. I write a vision statement for you. I record it and I send it back to you, so you can listen to it every day, and start to, really change your mindset and your energy and align yourself with exactly what you want in the new year.
So good. And how will people find you? Your website, is that
So my website,
hold on, I'm looking up here. Clara.
which is my full name.com.
There you go, Clara.
Clara.
I will put it, and I'll put that in the show notes. Is there anything else people should know about you before we finish up today?
So, I mean, the focus I think of today was about, serving from the heart. How do we, stay connected with our clients? And I just want to say that I think we should not be afraid, right, of getting close and personal, and finding out exactly what it is that, our people need. Give the people what they need, not what you think they need. And meet them where they are. Either whatever it looks like up here or down here or wherever. I mean, you meet people where they are, and you serve them with love, and serve all of them.
All of them. So good. Thank you, Clara. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. I'm going to shut off the recording.